So I was watching Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. What a beautiful movie. Let me start with that. I'm not a romantic type of dude, but that movie really highlights love in its essence and what love is. You know, love, it's so beautiful. We all desire it, we all want it. And the crazy thing about love is that many of us have heard, I love you. Many of us have heard those words from someone else, yet their actions don't show it. Many of us tell ourselves that we love ourselves, but our actions don't show it. So today we're going to give this essence, which is not even a feeling, but an essence, a spirit, a definition, and what love is and what love isn't. Like I always say, everything starts within. Everything starts within. Love always starts with inside yourself. And to love yourself is to be able to correct yourself, is to be able to tell yourself the truth. You know, the reason that the scriptures are so big on love and God being a loving father is because he's willing to correct us just like your parents would when you were younger, correct? The Most High corrects us little by little by little. But we have to be open to receiving that love and correction. That way he could grow us the way he wants us to grow. If we're not open to it and we turn away from him, why is he gonna even give you that love in the first place? Which is that's how you know if God loves you. He's willing to correct you. So how does this apply to our own life? How do we know when we love ourselves? Are you willing to correct yourself? Are you willing to tell yourself the truth? You know when you're not doing something you don't want to do. Whether you're overeating, whether you're smoking weed, whether you're drinking alcohol, whether you're doing habits that are destroying you, that make you feel bad, but you just are letting yourself be controlled by these habits, by these things. It's a lack of self-love. I think we always go back to the same thing. You don't find yourself to be worthy and you don't believe in who you are. Love isn't an emotion. It's not a feeling. It's an action. It's the knowing and accepting the truth and then embodying the truth about certain realities, certain situations. That way you could grow, because growth is very uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Let's just be honest. Who really wants to be uncomfortable? But if you're willing to put yourself through that, if you're willing to lead your body, your flesh, to put yourself through that, you'll grow. And this is where fulfillment comes in. But it all starts within. You cannot love anybody else if you can't love yourself first. Are you willing to correct yourself? Are you willing to tell yourself the truth? Are you willing to guide yourself? Are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to talk to yourself kindly, not putting yourself down, but uplifting yourself, encouraging yourself, being your own cheerleader when no one else is? Because we all seek it from other people. But we become defined and self-validated when we do it within ourselves first. And then this is going to allow us to give to other people from a glass full, a cup that's not cracked, that is overflowing, than a cup that is cracked and broken and barely holding itself together. That's another thing. Love is being able to pour from a full cup. It's to be able to give without wanting back. It's is to be able to show someone, reveal to someone the truth without judging them. You know? It's the ability to inspire and influence without bringing others down. Is the ability to reveal truths to people without casting them down, making them feel less than. It's gonna hurt and it's gonna suck, but we all must all go through it. We must all go through it. That is what love is. That is the act of love. So within this movie that I brought it up, these two characters, Joel and Clementine, this movie is like 25 years old, so you should watch it if you haven't watched it already. These two characters, they're very fragmented individuals. Joel represents a man who's afraid, who's wearing a mask, who's not willing to express himself because he's been hurt. Clementine is a woman who's impulsive, who acts out of, her first emotion and ends up making bad decisions, which is how the movie got started in the first place. She erases Joel out of her mind. And to this reaction, Joel then erases her out of her mind. And as, he's erasing her out of her mind, he begins to realize that he would rather deal with the pain that that love for her brought him than to lose her from his memories forever. And that's the reality of love too, is that when you love, you will be hurt one way or another. But you also will learn and you'll grow. And that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of love. But another thing, what I realized watching that movie is love is, in its essence, loyalty and sacrifice, which is something I did get from one of my mentors from back in the day, Chronicles of Judah 144. He would always say it, and now I begin to understand it as I grow in the scriptures, as I, experience life, watch different movies. These two characters' identities depended on one another, which is why they were in the constant cycle of frustration of Joel not being able to express himself, Clementine wanting him to express himself. When you're someone who gives up who you are for that other person, instead of integrating that person into your life, you are gonna feel frustrated and you are gonna crack, and these irritations are gonna manifest physically. When every time you self-sacrifice your spirit for this person, you're gonna become a shell of who you are, and that is very dangerous. That is very dangerous because you're doing that person a disservice by sacrificing who you are, because now you can't give that person your best, whether you think you are, by giving them things physically, which is a problem that a lot of men have. And another movie that I watched over the weekend was called More Money. The Wayne brothers came out in it. And within that movie, I realized the character, the main character, I forget his name, was after this one girl. And he started to idolize her. He started to put her on her pedestal. And he started to steal credit cards from his company. That way he could provide lavishly. But she didn't like this. She liked who he was. She left her boyfriend at the time to be with him. Well, he broke up with her, but she was seduced by who he was because he made her feel seen, understood. He brought that thrill of life into her. He made her feel something. Whereas her boyfriend during that time was very controlling, he had a superiority complex and would talk down. But he also was a man of order, so I understand. That's a topic of it for another day. Within this movie, though, you see the Wayne brother, the main character. He extends himself, and he starts to steal and, you know, steal these credit cards. That way he could give her this lifestyle. This is a big problem that I had in my previous relationship, was I thought the money and the experiences was gonna create an experience for her when all she wanted was for me to be fully present and in the moment. Because at that time, I was performing, I was trying to impress, whether I thought it or not. These are things that come out, you know, of your spirit psychologically. It wasn't things that I was thinking about consciously, you know, and that's the way that we men have been programmed, is that to provide is to provide experience, is to provide fun, is to provide thrill, you know, is to keep keep a woman around and please her. That's the way we've been programmed, and that's something that you have to be very careful with. That's not love. That is not love, because if you need to provide experience all the time and provide thrill, then you're just a fucking circus clown. And that's the fucking truth. That's the fucking truth. You should be able to be with your person and just do nothing. You should be able to be with a family member and just do nothing but enjoy each other's presence. And that's something that a lot of us men lack today. We're never in the moment. It's actually a lot of us people lack today. We're never in the moment. We're always in the past or always in the future. We're 10 minutes ahead, 15 minutes ahead, but we're never in the moment. We're there, but we're not there, you know? And this is very discouraging for your wife or your husband, because they could feel it. They could feel you're not attentive. And one of the most powerful currencies in this world is attention. It's connection. And a lot of men, we do get caught up in this because we're trying to provide, and we're trying to provide experience. And we do it through the external instead of providing through the spiritual and the mental. Instead of not giving the woman fullness, wholeness, but revealing how to get to that point so that way she could better herself. Love can be sacrificed, but it's usually physical death rather than spiritual death. Not giving up who you are on the inside, but giving up your body. That is love. That's why Christ's death in the scriptures was so powerful. He gave up his physical body. He suffered and endured suffering for his people. But he never, ever went against his purpose and his mission to please his people. He became a martyr for his people. And this allowed his people to open their eyes and see who he was and follow him. That is what made it so beautiful. That's what made it so beautiful. His death. It was his love. It was his willingness to sacrifice who he was. That is the beauty of love. Another thing though, love isn't fear. Love doesn't happen out of fear. Whenever you fear to lose someone you love, especially a man fearing a woman, losing his woman, you end up losing her. That's reality. You end up losing her. You end up overcompensating, overperforming, doing things that are out of character, breaking your own boundaries. Like I said, no one should ever ask you to give up who you are unless it's the Lord. But if you love someone, your wife or your husband, your kids, your friends, never give up who you are to compensate and make them feel comfortable. Always be willing to correct them, reveal to them truth, help better them without controlling them, without suffocating them, because that's another thing love isn't suffocation and control. Be a guide. Reveal things to them. Help them get to certain understandings. Take the horse to drink the water, but don't make the horse drink the water. In essence, love is loyalty and sacrifice. But you cannot love anybody if you cannot love yourself, which is to tell yourself the truth, which is to correct yourself when you're going off, which is to follow the Most High blueprint of love, which is self reflection, correction, accepting, embodying truth, moving in purpose. Love is loyalty and sacrifice. And the practical ways to apply this, do and put your best foot forward for the Lord, for yourself, each and every day. That way you could love those around you better. That way you could be a service to them rather than a disservice to them. That way you could be a great influence to them rather than someone they can't even respect their opinion on. That's the beauty of love. It transcends words, transcends feelings, and it creates connection between two spirits. And it's so beautiful when it's done right. But the world has it mixed up, making it think that it's chaotic, it's emotion and feeling. No, love is an action.